Yeah, what's going on? Party people in the house, time for football on the Friday forum. What is happening, everybody? What's going on, Tony? Good to see you, bro.
How you doing? How you doing? Just turning off my TV. I'm very well, very well. Top of the league. What else can we say?
Hey, man, I tell you, it was the game. Anyway, we're going to talk about the game. But before we do that, another man is smiling with us in the chat because Liverpool have decided to finally join the top six race. So, yeehaw, as they would say back in Montana on Yellowstone. We finally have Liverpool joining the party. So, Neil, talk to us. You're all
Yes.
smiles. And Neil, by the way, there's 13 games to go, and they are just 6 points behind Spurs with a game in hand, and you still have to play them. So it's all to play for.
Yes, exactly. Well, the thing is, I don't really look at the games in hand, even though it's kind of handy to have because you never know what the result's going to be, right? And
Yeah.
originally we had two games in hand. We drew one of those games. Yeah. So hopefully we'll spank United this weekend. But I shouldn't have said that because I just jinxed myself now. I just jinxed it by saying that. You know what I mean? Hopefully we'll get a good result over the weekend. And that's going to be
Yeah.
an interesting game. But yeah, looking at the top six now, yeah, we're almost there. We're almost there with a shout. Almost there with a shout. We just got to keep the form going. That's all we need to do now.
And there's a couple of big ones because you've got United at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, some really, really tough games, and then you've got to play Man City away. You got Chelsea away, and then you got Arsenal at home. So, I mean, it would be really good to. I can't even. Liverpool are so up and down because you've obviously beaten Man City before this season, right?
Yeah.
It's so up and down. Chelsea can't win, so that's probably a win for you at Stamford Bridge.
Hopefully, fingers
You've
crossed.
got Arsenal at Anfield. Arsenal haven't won at Anfield since I can remember. Since I can remember, it's got to be over a decade. So it's actually the last time they won there. It was Podolski and Cazorla. That was a 2-0.
Like that. Yeah.
And I can't even tell you. That was about 2013, 2014. So it's been a
That's
decade.
before my time, man. That's before my time because I'm only 12 years old. You know what I mean?
Mad. So, but everything's been going okay for you yeah?
Yeah. Everything's going good. Just looking forward to this weekend of football. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it's going to come down to 13 games to go now. Everything's going to be like a cup final, and then as you come down to the last 10 games, it's sudden death. I think sudden death is probably the last 5 games. But the problem with the last 5 fixtures is they don't open up the 6 point. You know, all the 6 pointers are in the last 10. Is between 10 to 5 played, and that's the ones I just talked about with. Also, City at home to Arsenal. Chelsea, yeah, so all those rival games are not in the last 5. They're all in the with 10 games to go sort of thing.
Well, hopefully, obviously being a Liverpool fan, I hope that all those results go in our favour. Yeah. We realistically we need any team above us, if they play each other, we need that to be a draw, and then we need to win our corresponding game, so we close that gap by 2 points. Yeah, and then it just gives us more of a shout. But we have to win our games. Yeah. The first thing we have to do is win our games, and then hope that the teams above us all draw their games, and then that just makes it much more exciting come the last sort of 5 games. Because it'd be nice that you've got like at least another team in there fighting for that top 4 spot. Because right now we're not there. We're looking at top 6 at the moment.
Yeah.
But closer to that time, hopefully we're in the top 4 or we're fighting for that. We're there with a shout. That's all we can ask for right now at this moment in time.
So for you, what has to change in order for you to get that result?
2 things: conceding goals and scoring goals. Because that's the only thing at this moment in time. I know it sounds very obvious, but we've conceded too many goals. We went 4 games in a row where we conceded 3 goals or more.
Yeah.
So that needs to go to 0 for a start, and then we just need to start pumping in the goals. We need to be taking and scoring our chances because we're still getting chances. We're just not putting them away. just not put
So-
them away.
So let's take a look at that. Let's start from the top. So first of all, was Fulham against Wolves. I ain't got much to say on that because the trend is there where Fulham are starting to struggle, have been struggling to score goals over the last 2 months, January and February, and Wolves are starting to find goals. So the trajectory, one team's at the near the top of the table, one team's near the bottom, and the trajectory is starting to change. And we always knew when Wolves started to get players back from injury that the trend was going to start to change for them, and it definitely has.
Yeah.
They are starting to look a little bit more solid. They were never really leaking goals, were they?
No,
But
they've had a very good defense throughout the season. They just haven't been able to score goals and capitalize on their chances. But yeah, as you said, with players coming back now, yeah, we're going to start seeing a trend of Wolves getting getting a few more 3-pointers rather than 1 point or 0 points.
Yeah, when you consider that they've played 25 games and only scored 18 goals. I mean,
I know that's like, that's a terrible return, man. It's a terrible return.
Mad. And they've got to play. Oh, they're playing Spurs this weekend at home, and then they've got Newcastle away. So it's going to be a tough couple of weeks for them. Have any of you got anything to say on this one? If not, we can just move straight to Everton.
No, it was the Friday night game, wasn't it? And it was a nothing game. I think we kind of briefly touched on it on the show last week.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nothing game.
Yeah, it was a nothing game.
And really, Everton have just. It was a big one for them following what happened at Arsenal, but they've shown their true colours. And he doesn't have. Sean Dyche has got everything he's ever wanted to play with in his life. He's got a competent defense. He's got a quality midfield. He's got the England goalkeeper. These are things he's never ever had. But where's the goals?
No, but when a team is not playing well and not playing well for the majority of the season and are where Everton are at this moment in time, I can't see them escaping that. You know, when Dyche came in, you thought that they would have turned their luck around and they would have started getting more and more points and they wouldn't be dropping games, at least to teams like Villa anyway. Yeah.
But I mean, to a point, in fairness, he has. If you're sitting down with the owner, take for instance, in the last 6 games before he took over, they had 1 point in the last 6.
Yeah.
Since he's taken over, they've had 6 points in the last 5 games. So he's definitely bringing more points.
Yeah, but they don't look as if they're going to do enough.
I agree.
Yeah. Normally when a new manager comes in, that first 5-6 games, the team are difficult to beat and they just seem like a new team. Everton don't look like a new team to me. They just don't look like a new team. Yeah, and even when what's his name took over at Villa, they look good for their first few games, really good.
Yeah, so they're playing. Yeah. They're away to Nottingham Forest this week, a game they must win.
Yeah, it's a must-win game.
It's a must-win game for them. Tony, nothing from you on that because you said you already covered it. Next game is Leeds Southampton. Not a real shocker there.
No, not really. To be honest, I thought that game was going to be a draw. To be honest.
Nah, Southampton are dead, mate. They're finished.
Yeah, but to me, I feel the same about Leeds. I feel like they're finished as well, to be honest.
Really?
So that's why, yeah. I don't know.
So if you look at the bottom 6 teams, the one thing, and I'll read this out: the bottom 6 teams, who are the better goal scorers? The worst is Everton with 17. Everton scored 17 goals. That's unbelievable. And then Southampton, 19 goals. And then Bournemouth, 22 goals. West Ham, 23 goals. Wolves, 18 goals. But the better team out of all of those is Leeds with 29 goals. So they've scored a lot of goals.
They've scored a lot of goals. Yeah, I just feel that they're running out of puff right now. And it's at the wrong time of the season, to be honest. That's how I feel.
And bearing in mind that they're a team that relies on running.
Yeah. Exactly.
Their whole ethos is around speedy closing down, speedy counterattacks. You know, you can't be running out of puff when your whole basis of your system of play is running.
Exactly, and that's what they look like. You know, that's what they over the last 3 games.
I'll be honest with you.
Like.
I thought there was some kind of like a leftovers from Leeds' first saute in the Premier League, where they ran everybody ragged.
Yeah.
They literally ran everybody ragged. And then the next season, they couldn't keep up the intensity.
Yeah.
And where they're at now is they just can't get back to their original essence of we will run every team ragged.
Yeah, I think that's impossible because when you consider that they've gone through the most drastic changes more than everyone else except for Nottingham Forest. We've covered Forest. We knew out of 25 players, they had to get rid of 21. And they only had literally 4 or 5 people left on their squad. So we know that they brought in 21 players. The difference with Leeds was COVID ripped them apart. And then they were getting to the point where all the teams were cancelling fixtures because they couldn't field teams. Leeds were one of the very few teams that said, we don't care if we need to start our academy players, we will. And they did. And I remember Arsenal beating them 5-1, and they had 9 players brought into from the academy.
Yeah.
They only had 2 players from their first team when they played us, and they got mullered. The difference now is they sold the England international who went to Man City.
Calvin Phillips.
Calvin Phillips. They sold him, and then they sold Rafinha, which were arguably their 2 best players. Now they got Rodri.
Big mistake. How they got rid of Rafinha, I don't know why.
But what they've done is they've developed those, obviously, as Tony's saying, money. But what they've done is those 9 academy players that they bought through COVID and have now got 2 years experience.
Yeah.
So it's kind of worked for them from a salary standpoint. They're paying less money. If they can survive, I think they'll be all right. I really do think that Everton and Bournemouth and Southampton are going to be the 3 teams that go down. I really do. And that's just based off the fact that Leeds scores goals.
Yeah. For me, definitely Southampton and Everton. I'm not sure about that 3rd position yet. Bournemouth look kind of favourites, but as I said, Leeds look like they're running out of puff right now, so they could be in that mix, and within the next 2-3 games, they could be down there as well.
Yeah, they could be.
But so the next 3 games will probably determine who's actually going down.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see right now, because I've just realized, Tony, that the results, let's have a look. Okay, so I think I'm missing the midweek results here.
No. So what you've got FA
Cup
Arsenal
games and only 2 Premier League games.
No, but you're missing the first, which was the Arsenal and the Liverpool games.
That's right. Yeah, they're not here, but we can still talk about them.
Yeah.
So the next one is Arsenal Leicester. That was the comeback game, to be honest. After we had the purple patch, and then we started to have some decent results, and we looked at what happened with Aston Villa. We came back with Aston Villa, and then everything started looking a little bit more rosy. It just looks good. It just bodes well for what's going on with Arsenal now. And then the 4-0 win midweek was probably our best game of the season. So I just love where they're going and the trajectory and the goals from all of the players that were drying up. Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, all those goals that were drying up have started to come back into the fore, and confidence is high. We've got a clean sheet at home for only the 3rd time this season. Tony, anything to add on to that?
No, I mean, look, the fact that Arsenal have they're the only team to have 2 players with more than 10 goals in the Premier League. The fact that we've got 5 players above 8 goals this season in the Premier League. With another who scored 9 goals in all competition, bodes well. I think, we've got a really good balance of youth and experience now. I was slightly perturbed at the transfer window business that we did, but it looks like it is pulled off a master stroke if we can see it through. The squad for me is still a little bit threadbare, but the results this week have sort of, I think, given everybody at Arsenal a renewed confidence in the ability of this team, this young team, to compete all the way through to the end of the season. I think we were all a little bit worried that, oh no, what's going to happen if Thomas Partey goes down? Well, actually, Jorginho's shown that we can still, do a thing. And,
he's brought that experience
we've
in.
been missing Gabriel Jesus, but actually, between Trossard, Martinelli, Saka, and Nketiah, goals are plenty have been coming. So happy days at Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah, I think for me, and we'll talk about some of the comments on here. We've got a Facebook user who's probably on Footy Banter page, so I don't know what his name is on here. He says, I think Leeds will stay up. I think Bournemouth and Southampton will definitely go down. Yeah. So between West Ham and Everton. Yeah, and if you look at the forum heading, it says, I'll give StreamYard permission to show my name. If you click that, then I'll be able to see who you are. That's leaving the comments. G, it's good to see you, G. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. Says, honestly, just really happy that we are in the situation we are now. I think we have had our wobble and we will now go on a nice run, especially with Partey back fit and Easter around the corner, and we all know what happens then. And then Cam, nice to see you, Cam, as well. It said, as for Bournemouth, just don't be complacent, and it's a win. We beat Everton comfortably, and we decided to take things semi-seriously. I want a comfortable 3-0 lead. Neil, anything on that one? Neil, what is it? What's your take on Arsenal this season? Do you think that they have the legs for it? A couple of weeks ago when they lost to Man City, everybody said, yeah, that's it. They're going to nosedive. It's over for them. And here we are now, 5-point lead.
Every team's going to take a wobble this season. Every team's going to take a wobble. It's down to how long that wobble is going to go, how many games it's going to go over for. To be honest, it's still going to be close between you lot and City. It's right now for me. That top spot is a 2-horse race. Yeah, it's a 2-horse race. City have the experience and they have the players to win, but right now I can't see it happening with the form that you guys are playing at. And City have been dropping. They've been dropping more points than they have any other season. Yeah, so as much as I dislike saying it, I think Arsenal will do it this season now. I definitely think you guys will do it. City are going to drop more points.
Excellent. And Tony's got a banner up there saying Saka's now played 67 consecutive games. I mean, you worry about him from a injury standpoint because he's just not resting enough. Neil knows all about this from Michael Owen, what happens when you play them too young. And I would really like to see some rotation going in there. Funny enough, Smith Rowe came on for him in the game, which I thought was a nice gesture, although that's not where Smith Rowe plays his best football. But 21 goals and 17 assists. I mean, right now, he's up there with Haaland and Harry Kane in terms of the top 3 goals and assists per game. Yeah. And, 2 years ago, when that stat first started in 2021, it was said the best player in the world in world football was Mo Salah. So it just goes to show how far he's come along. And to be honest, I haven't quite been following Salah. Neil has told me that he's just been missing so many chances.
He always has. It's just that because he scored a lot of goals, nobody looks at the chances he gets and chances he misses. But seriously, it's probably 3-4 to 1. If every goal he scores, he'll miss 3 or 4 chances. And some of them are real sitters as well. This season, it's more apparent because Liverpool have not been firing when it comes to scoring goals, and we've scored a lot less goals than we have any other season so far. So it's more noticeable now. But if he was banging in goals or we were banging in goals as a team, then people will probably say, well, he's still scoring loads of goals. He's not, And unfortunately, we've had the news today that Bobby wants to move on. I don't blame him because he's sitting on the bench a lot of the times now.
So, is that for me? I don't know. Sorry, Firmino. I don't know your terminology. Okay,
Bobby Firmino. Yeah, so Firmino. So yeah, he's looking to move at the end of this season now because he knows he's not going to get many games.
So it's funny that you say that because I looked. His goal conversion is 24%, which is still the same as Harry Kane. So is it that he's not shoot? He seems to be getting in the chances. But and his conversion's okay. I mean, if I look at someone like, if we want to talk about someone who's missing a lot of chances, Song from Spurs, his goal conversion is 15%, which is among the lowest in the Premier League.
Yeah, but when
he
you
can't hit a barn door.
Yeah, but when you hit those percentages, yeah, what's the actual figures?
Well,
So
that's
how many-
it, isn't it? Goal conversion, like how many shots on target are
Yeah, but
are
no, I'm
actually
saying what is
scoring.
the actual figure? So how many chances he actually had? Saying 15%, he could have had 10 chances. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I
had
think
loads more.
when
He's
you're
had
talking about
loads and loads.
Salah, when you're talking about Salah and Song, you're talking about two players in two top teams who are going to have loads of. So I don't think that counts in terms of how many shots they've had. It's a nice number to know, but the percentages are probably more important because you want to know how clinical they are in front of goal.
Exactly, conversion rate. Yeah.
So it's a strange one for me, but I mean, Song has just fallen off a cliff for Spurs. Again, it's a shame Andy's not here so that he could tell us what's actually going on.
He's just having a bad season for whatever reason it is. He's just having a bad season. And players, you will get the top players will have bad seasons. You know, and then again, you'll have players who have. I think he had an okay season, but he's won the Ballon d'Or yet again.
Yeah.
And let's not forget at Spurs that they've got they spent a lot of money in the summer on a replacement striker who scored 0 goals all season.
Yeah. Zero.
I don't know if you saw the game, or I watched the highlights of the game midweek. He took a shot which nearly hit the corner flag. This was the guy who was cracking in overhead goals for Brazil in the World Cup.
He scored 2 of the best goals in the World Cup.
Yeah,
and now he's turned into like literally the worst player in the Premier League.
I've never rated him as a great player. I thought that he's got the potential to be a very good player, but since he made that move to Spurs, I think he looks even worse in the white shirt than the blue shirt. But then that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's have a look. He's played in 23 games. And remember, we talked about Song's conversion is among the lowest at 15%.
Have you got the stats of his first 23 games for Everton?
No, I wouldn't have that here.
Could that be interesting to see?
But I can tell you, the lowest goal conversion rate in the Premier League is 9%, and
Who's
that's
that?
Richarlison.
Oh, okay. So
wow.
They spent 60 million on a striker to have a 9% goal conversion.
9%. Yeah, but that's when you pay too much for a player, though. You do get that. He'll probably, he will probably come good next season.
As Greg G says, that is so Spursy.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. All right, guys. So we've got Michael, who looks like he's trying to connect into the chat. So we move to really West Ham, Nottingham Forest. Wow, what a game that was! West Ham haven't been scoring all season long, and then again, if for any of you who live in Northwest London, it's like the number 18 bus. You don't say any for 2 or 3 hours, and then they all come all at once.
Exactly.
I mean, if you consider the fact that all season West Ham have scored 19 goals in 23 games, and then they get 4 in one game, it's crazy. And Declan Rice's goal was the pick of the bunch. His goal looked absolutely brilliant. Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me bring Michael in. And Michael, it's good to see you. Good, nice of you to join us. Tell us a little bit about yourself so that people who are listening here know who you are. I can't hear you at the moment. Your
probably
mic
on
isn't mute.
You're probably on mute.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Doesn't say you're on mute.
Hello. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Hear you now.
Oh, here we go. All right, let's start with the most important thing. I'm a massive Man United fan, just to get that out there. I work in education. I played lots of football in my youth, and I'm a football fan before Man United fan, and that's it really.
So what does that mean? I'm a football fan before I'm a Man United fan, because
it's different things. Like different things, Apollo. Like I respect the game. You know, of course, I love my team, but I love good football. You know, I just like good football. So that's what it is. But of course, I'm loyal to my team. But you know, if a team's played much better than United, I'll say, you know. But I love football, all levels. I just love football.
Excellent. So you're kind of perfect for what we do here, because we discuss not only our teams but every team in the league, and you know, we agree to disagree on so many different topics in the Premier League. But it's how long have you been a United fan for?
Well, I'm 42, so since Brian Robson, my star player was Paul Ince, you know, as a centre mid. But that's how old I go back. Brian Robson, Leclerc. That's my era.
Excellent. And so does anybody have anything to add with the West Ham Nottingham Forest game?
Yeah, the West Ham have been very up and down, especially over the last 3 weeks. So what did they drew 1-1? Was that with Chelsea? Lost to Spurs last weekend or the weekend before, and then they beat Forest. It just shows the type of season that they're having. And even though it's a good result, who have they got this weekend? I'm just trying to think who they got this weekend.
Who's that?
West Ham. They've got Brighton.
West Ham. Yeah.
Brighton. So that's going to tell whether they're going to stay up or whether they're going to continue to fall down the league.
Yeah, because Michael played them on the weekend in the FA Cup, and it weren't even close, was it? No, Michael, tell us a little bit about what happened in that game.
You know, it's sad because I was looking at a game, of course, and I was looking at West Ham, and I've got a secret space for Mikel Antonio. He's a South London lad from Wandsworth, and I was watching him play, and he could have made it harder for Man United. But when you look at West Ham, it looks like the coach, the gaffer, has run out of ideas. You know, he's only got one plan. Some of the players, I think they're tired, and I don't want to pick on Mikel Antonio. He could score a hat-trick that game. He had two one-on-ones. And looked unfit, looked off the pace, and I'm a fan of him. But it's that typical West Ham, you know, where they were last year was, you know, it could be above them, sad to say. And now they're in the scrap of the relegation fight. You know, it's not good. I think they need to change the culture. He has some new ideas, you know, to reinvent the game.
Yeah. And I hear Bertram now is talking in the chat, is asking the question of whether Arsenal should pursue Declan Rice.
So just to make Michael aware, there's a commenter called Stan Kroenke. It's not actually Stan Kroenke of Arsenal. It's our good Jamaican friend who lives in New York, Bertram Spence. And he's listening into the show from New York. He sometimes come on. He might come on tonight, actually. To
I've seen him.
Tuppence in.
Yeah, I remember him.
Good, yeah. So it's interesting.
Look, my answer for that isn't going to change. I would rather pursue Caicedo.
Wow.
So have you got the Caicedo?
But who wouldn't go for that player right now? Who wouldn't go for that player right now?
Yeah. Let me just hold on. Let me get rid of this, Tony.
So Brighton are going to have a whole load of teams putting in a bid for him come the summer transfer window.
But the question is, will they get near that 75 million? Because what Arsenal put forward to him was crazy. Hold on, I'm just going to put it up now, Tony.
Okay.
You just had it up, didn't you?
Yeah, but I've got it on my share screen. It was a bit crazy how much Arsenal offered him. Chelsea, who was offering stupid money for everybody, only valued him at 55 million and would not go a penny higher. And Arsenal went way higher than that, and they still said no. I mean, look, guys, he ain't worth more than 40.
Do you know what? A player is worth what teams are willing to play, unfortunately, because that's what they go for.
Yeah.
Even though
you reckon this guy will go for 100 million in the summer?
Do you know what? If a team has the money and they want him, they will buy him.
Wow.
Yeah. Look at Grealish. I know we keep going back to Grealish, but look at Grealish. Yeah. Look at Grealish. Unfortunately, right? Look at the money he went for, and that's because City could afford to pay that money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get any team with money, right? If they want a player, they will outprice that player in the market.
Mm.
Yeah, whether we think that player is worth it or not, that's that doesn't matter anymore. Yeah.
Truth be told, though, I will say that even though Moser
he just
Caicedo
signed.
is
He did
having
just
a
sign.
good season, I actually think there are better midfielders in Europe right now.
Do you know there are better midfielders, but you've got to look at the team looking to buy them and how that team thinks that player is going to fit into their jigsaw puzzle.
Mm.
I mean, what we have to do is we have to consider what I was saying last week, Neil, is that right now the English Premier League is the Super League.
Yeah,
it's that super that Chelsea can spend more money in a single transfer window than the whole
other
of
leagues.
Europe.
Yeah, put together.
Yeah,
Crazy.
so that tells
Crazy.
you the English Premier League teams like Nottingham Forest, Brighton, Bournemouth are all spending big money.
Yeah, but the thing is,
clubs in Europe who we consider to be giants can't spend.
Yeah, and I think what you guys have to understand, which is very hard for us to do, is if this was happening in Italy or Germany or France or Spain, every single one of you lot would be complaining. Every single one of you lot would be complaining about it. Well, that's how the rest of the world view the Premier League.
Yeah, 100.
They cannot even think about. As soon as I remember when Arsenal went in for Gabriel in France, and there was Napoli, Juventus, Dortmund were after him. And as soon as he knew Arsenal came calling, he had one meeting with Mikel Arteta. 12 hours later, Gabriel signed for Arsenal. I mean, it just wasn't even close. And apparently, we offered him 50 grand a week. And the highest he was offered, which was from Napoli, was 30,000 euros, 25 grand. So Arsenal essentially doubled his salary. I mean, it's not just some, and this is the reason why, you know, all the stuff that was going on with Mudryk and all of that. It's not so much the fee. Do you think players care about the fee? Fee's got nothing to do with them. Maybe their agents.
They're getting in the pocket. They want to know what they're getting in the pocket at the end of each week.
Exactly. So, yes, look at the 120 million spent on Enzo, but his salary is 360,000 a week. Yeah. Who on earth is going to pay him that? Who? Who?
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
See, because we the one thing we all have to concede to is that for a very long time in the UK, football has been a business. It hasn't been a sport. Since the Premier League, it's been business. Yeah. Since the conception of the Premier League, the salaries have gone up. The amount of money gone into the game, into the division has gone up season upon season upon season. Yeah. Then you get the rich owners coming in and adding more money to the league, basically. Yeah. That's why you see these players go there. And that's another reason why, in my view, you don't see the world's best coming here. They'll come here when they want that payday. Yeah. Because even though we're getting like top players, we're paying that big money. That, you know, a lot of the players that you hear about that you would like to see here, they're still looking at teams like Real Madrid. They're still looking at Barcelona. Yeah, they're looking at those teams because those teams they grew up with and those teams they want to play for. And they haven't got to the stage where it's all about money for them. Yeah, but when it does, that's when you'll see all the top players coming over here. Yeah, when it's all about money.
I think we're already there. I mean, we can buy players that Real Madrid wish they had. You know, Real Madrid wish they had Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, Mo Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, Erling Haaland. Don't forget, Erling Haaland was a target for Real Madrid.
Yeah,
he chose Man City.
Yeah, no, they couldn't. Yeah, they couldn't afford him compared to what City were going to pay him.
So that's what I'm saying. The biggest team in the world is getting trumped by, you know, the English Premier League. So we're shopping in a different supermarket.
It's business, isn't it? As I said,
all the other leagues around the world.
You see what though? For a long time. Like you know what? I get what you're saying, but why has Madrid always, you know, like they beat the best teams like in England? It's like we saw what they've done with Liverpool, we saw what they've done in Champions League, and they haven't got the best players, like we say. Why did it always beat the best in England? You know, how come, you know, like what is it?
Well, I mean, I think the question's twofold because you've got a lot of teams like Newcastle, Chelsea, who are coming into the fore because they're spending a lot of money now. But teams like Liverpool, Man City, Real Madrid, they have spent, PSG to an extent, have spent a lot of money in the last 5 or 6 seasons. And that's why they're performing the way they have been for the last few seasons, because that money's filtered through. Like we've seen. So, Arsenal has spent in the last 3 years in the Premier League, if you take out what Chelsea's done, nobody has spent more money than Arsenal before Chelsea got on this rampage.
Liverpool aren't now in the top 5 or 6. They're not in the top 5 or 6.
They're not even close.
They're not even close.
Yeah.
But now, look at the money that Arsenal, the highest spending team of the last 3 seasons, look where that has got them. They're top of the league now. So it takes a while to filter through.
I think in relation to your question, Michael, my own personal view is look at the youth system of both Real Madrid and Barcelona, because they're bringing through youngsters like Vinny Jr. and Sufati. They've got a whole plethora of really top draw players that they've brought through from youth. Is that
always work through when they purchased them? They brought those players in. They weren't developed.
They've always done that. The thing with Real Madrid that we need to remember is that they were called the Galacticos for a reason. That's because they were getting. But then you've got to look at when that stopped. That's when they started concentrating more on the youth and bringing the youth through.
Yeah, but
and they've been doing that for a number of seasons now.
Let's call it how it is. Barcelona always brought players through their system. Real Madrid
because they couldn't afford. They weren't funded by the bank. Yeah, they weren't funded by the bank. Yeah.
So we're now seeing a little bit of that sort of building from the foundation coming through. But let's look at the team that we were talking about, Chelsea, and see how badly this has affected them. I know the writing's small for you guys, so I'm going to read it out. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 20 players are making over 100 grand a week at Chelsea. Wow. Yeah. So Ziyech, Kovac, Fofana, Chukwuemeka, Silva, young Felix. Those players, Felix making 110. Those players on 100 grand a week. Then
look at Sterling, though, man.
Loftus-Cheek 120. Pulisic 150, Havertz 150, Balaga is 150, Fernandez 157, Aubameyang 160, which is half of what he's making at Arsenal, by the way. Cucurella 175, Apokela is 180, Chidwell 190, Fofana, Wesley, this is 200 grand, Reece James 250, that's his new contract. That's what I thought Saka was going to sign for, so strange to hear them talk about Saka 200 grand. I think it's going to be 250. Kante 290, dead money. Koulibaly 295, dead money. He's 33 now, isn't it? Sterling, who is my cousin, so I can't really say anything about him. But now we're hearing now he's going to be sold in the summer. 325 grand a week.
Wow.
And guys, remember. Mudrik's not even on this list. Do you know why? Because he was making 3 grand a week at his previous club, Sparta. Arsenal offered him 15,000 a week, and Chelsea came in with 40 grand a week, and that's why he signed with Chelsea, because they pretty much tripled his salary that he was offered at Arsenal. So he's not even on this list. However, if you understand how wages work, his wages will scale through those 8 years. From 40 to 120,000 a week. So as the years go on, it scales. So that's the reason why they kind of look after. They do that a lot in the NFL, not a lot in football. So talk us through this one, Tony.
So, seeing as we started talking about Chelsea, I thought I'd pull up this graphic that I had found from today. This is an unbelievable statistic that since November the 6th, Chelsea have scored 6 goals. Which is 100 million per goal. And in the same time, Man United top the list at 50 goals, Man City 36, Arsenal 26, Tottenham 24, and Liverpool 23. I mean, the fall from grace is phenomenal. I mean,
Exactly.
I tried to get Dave to come on because, you know, look, we always like to give the fan of the team an opportunity to talk about what's going on. And Dave's been a bit scarce of late. I did send him the link. He's in
I
bed
wonder
right
why.
now. I said,
I wonder
have a
why.
listen in. You might want to have a little text message to tell me what's going on. But I mean, clearly,
Is he
you know,
listening in?
things are really bad at Chelsea. I mean, it's just, you know, I live in Chelsea area, so everyone around me supports Chelsea. It's just amazing how, you know, having done what they've done in the 2 transfer windows, January and the summer, that they are struggling the way they are struggling. Another loss this last weekend just gone against a team that they generally tend to beat in Spurs. So, you know, they can't even get the games where, you know what, this should be a banker. They can't get it. They're not winning those games any longer.
Okay,
Why
guys.
is that,
All
do
right.
you think? Oh, sorry, Paulo.
No. Go on. Carry on.
Yeah, like, why aren't they winning games? Why is Chelsea? They spend a lot of money. What is it? Because it's easy to blame. Was it the gaffer, the players, the whole structure?
No, it's for me. It's the players. I mean, as much as I've got a friend who's a Chelsea fan, and he keeps saying it's down to Potter. It's down to Potter. He keeps changing the combos on the pitch. He says 3 or 4 combinations of strategy per game that they're playing at the moment. But I say to him, look, no matter what the gaffer says, you've still got 11 men on the pitch who knows how to play football. Yeah, they've played at a team for a while now. Yeah, they know what the game's all about. They know their positions and they know how to play their positions. The fact that they're not working well as a unit, that's more than just the gaffer. Yeah, the gaffer gives them commands. He gives them commands. He gives them commands, but at the end of the day, you still got guys who are being paid a lot of money.
Yeah, we see.
For their skills. Yeah, if they're not producing their skills on the pitch, it's very easy to blame the gaffer. But you always have to start with the players. You have to. If he's playing the best players available, they're not performing, right? Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
But look, we've got enough. We got a plethora of work where we've seen a team of players playing badly, change the manager, and all of a sudden everything changes. So I'm reticent to say it's the players.
Yeah,
because
but
when you have as much talent as Chelsea have, literally they have 3 squads. They literally have 3 squads.
Yeah.
They've got players in their 3rd squad who you would probably have in your 1st team.
Listen, there are things that are probably happening behind the scenes that nobody knows about, right? United are good at doing that, and Chelsea are good at doing that. When it comes to getting rid of the manager, they will always come on, man. Player power used to play a strong thing, especially with Chelsea a few years back, right? Yeah, when you look at the managers they've gone through, they just start playing really, really badly. And when you look at the individual players, they're playing terrible. As soon as the manager goes, it's like it's a brand new player all of a sudden. Yeah, it's a brand new player all of a sudden. And they were known to do that. Whenever there was a manager they didn't like, they went through this dive. And they were losing and dropping points to teams that they should never be dropping points to. Yeah, once the manager goes, it's all back to normal again. Yeah, let's play well. Let's start winning our games again. Yeah, so I think part of it could be that. Yeah, they may not like Potter, but as I said, you've got, as you said, 3 squads, and they're very good players. They're all very good players. Yeah, right. They should be playing as bad as they are. They should not be playing as bad as they are. Losing 1-2 games. Yeah, fair enough. How many? You said they've only scored 6 goals. Yeah. How can you blame Potter for that? Potter's not on the pitch in front of the goal. Yeah, that's the players. Yeah, that's the players. 6 goals.
The one thing that I heard the fans complain about is how have you got Aubameyang on there?
Yeah.
On the bench, and you've got a scoring problem. I remember when Spurs beat them 2-0, he brought Aubameyang on in the last sort of 10 minutes or whatever, and Spurs fans were like, no, not Spurs fans, sorry, Chelsea fans were like, I cannot believe, like, we are suffering without a striker because you're trying to play this Havertz false 9. We can't score goals. And then you have the audacity to put Aubameyang on, who's a true striker, regardless of what his form is, regardless
Yeah, but how many goals has he scored since he's come to
It doesn't
Chelsea?
matter. The point is, you're saying you ain't got a striker and you've got a player like a Aubameyang sitting on the bench. Don't matter how much goals he scored. You can't score if you're sitting on the bench. I said this to Tony for years when we talked about the various different Arsenal players like Podolski and whatever. You can't score if you're sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not. Yeah, but he's not scoring when he's playing anyway, right?
He's just not. No, he's just not playing. All right, hold on. Let's have a look and see how that works.
I think
He hasn't played the full game
started-
since he's come to Chelsea. He hasn't played the full game, has he?
I think last game he started was against Man City.
I would love to know the stats because these are the most interesting things that answers a lot of questions for us. I would love to know. Right, hold on.
So Apollo, then you're clearly behind. It's the manager's fault, then, yeah. Why they're playing so badly?
Look, okay, so
the manager has to be accountable in my eyes.
No. The manager always accountable. No, they're always accountable.
So many things that you can do, especially when you're given as much talent as he has. Now, if I was to turn and say, "Well, are the players not working hard enough?" I look.
Yeah, but he's not playing. He's not playing the players that he's got. He's not going out week in and week out and playing the worst players, is he?
All right, hold on, guys. Let me
he's
run
not picking
through
the worst players.
Because this is. Let me run through this. So in the last game against Tottenham, he played 7 minutes. Before that, against Liverpool, he played 9 minutes. Before this is crazy.
Is it going back in increments of 2 minutes? Yeah.
Before that, he played Crystal Palace 27 minutes.
Oh, double figures, man.
He had 3 shots on target. Before that, it was Man City. He played 60 minutes, no shots on target.
Yeah.
17 minutes before that against Nottingham Forest, he had 1 shot. Bournemouth, before that, he played 8 minutes.
You don't respect him.
Yeah. Against Arsenal, he played 60 minutes. He had 1 yellow card and 1 shot.
Ooh.
Before that, against Brighton, 20 minutes, 1 shot. Before that,
so his return's not that great. Then his return is not that great.
50-50. It's the same. You ain't got faith in him.
So yeah. So if he's not playing that well, and those are the stats you're reading out, you can see why he's not getting games.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can go on, but the fact of the matter is, I don't even know how many games he's actually even started. So yeah, you can't, especially in the last 6 or 7 games, you can't score if you're not playing, regardless what form he's on. And we all kind of know he's a waste man, but he's a waste man.
I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous.
No, he's a waste man that can still score your goals. When he went to Barcelona, he scored 11 goals in the last half of the season. So he's still got goals in him. It's just whatever else you want from him to do from a system standpoint, he ain't gonna do.
Yeah, and this was thinking, once you spend a lot of money the transfer window, you have to start winning. You can't. I think is it 1 win in 11 games? You know, that's like crazy. As soon as you spend a lot of money, the pressure's on you. If he spent 40 million or 30 or 50, it wouldn't be as bad. He spent, like you said, he spent over 300 mil as 1 game. That's sackable.
I mean, if you think about this season, they spent 300 in the summer and another 300, so they spent 600 million. That's over $500 million in 6 months.
Yeah,
I mean, you can build empires with the amount of money that Chelsea spent on players. Yeah. Let me say hello to my brother from another mother, Bertram. How are you? You've joined us actually when we finished our week review, and we're about to go into something we didn't cover in January, which was our Premier League team of the season so far. We're about to go into that now. But how have you been? How's everything over there in New York?
I'm doing well. My Arsenal is winning. My Knicks are winning. I have nothing to complain about. I have no complaints. And I hear you guys talking about Chelsea quite a bit. I will say this, though. It's like a player who's a very good player, but it's off form. Potter didn't just get bad yesterday. Come on. He was great at Brighton. He won his first 3 games with Chelsea. And as Neil says, players got to go out and play. They're quality players. Now, the problem for him is he has too many similar players. Yeah. And when you have so many similar players, it's hard to pick the so-called right team. When you have a preseason with them, they haven't trained with you, you haven't get a chance to observe them. How does he practice with 40-something players? Only 22 can be at the field at a time. How do I play them? I mean, How does that work? I mean, it's crazy. So I
Listen,
know that
maybe in practice they're putting out more players in practice. Maybe this it's more than 22 aside that you're playing with, you know.
But that cannot be a happy squad. You think about all the teams: Man U, lesser extent Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. You know at least your best 8. If you got the next 3, Arsenal is different. Arsenal know it's best 10 probably. You know your best 8, and then there's 3 people fighting for position for 3 positions. At Chelsea, you have no idea what your best 20 is. How do you figure that out? I mean, so we'll see what happens.
But Stan,
So for me,
this is what I'm thinking, right? You've got the gaffer, the manager. You know, he says yes to his players to come. He knows what he's got already. Why is he buying players just like what he's got?
No. We have a misconception here.
Okay.
These American owners, they do what they want to do. You don't tell them they buy. They think they know the football, even though they may not know the football. They have their strategy. They have done well in business. They're smart people. Don't get me wrong. They're smart people.
Yeah, definitely.
But the intellect only stretches so far in certain disciplines. And then you have to make experts who have done this come and help you. And they go and buy the players they want. They didn't need Modric. They bought Modric because we're going to buy Modric. And they believe he's a good player. So they went and bought Modric. Right? That's how they so the strategy is, I wouldn't say it's flawed, because I think they'll come good eventually, but it's not this year.
So I just want to say it comes down to a good manager will always manage players. And the one thing that Arteta had at Arsenal is he took over a team of Deadwood.
Yeah.
He knew going in, when he had his business plan, he said to the Cronkies, this is who I want to get rid of. And here's my yellow book of players who I'm looking to bring in. So you already have a plan. You got a roadmap. And he said it's going to take us 3 years to do it. He said in 3 years, and I quoted this was the whole trust the process, right? So in 3 years, we're going to get into the Champions League. And within 5 years, we're going to win the title or the Premier League. That's what he said.
I say this to you. If he didn't have an American owner, he would not be the manager of Arsenal.
Well,
if he did not have an American owner, because American owners, you follow US sports, they're patient enough. They don't always fire people, right? They'll give you a rope. Now they can do it in the US because they don't have relegation, but they'll give you a rope to go, you know what, demonstrate that your plan will work. If this was Abramovich, Arteta would not be the manager for Arsenal.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And the thing is, with Potter, I agree with everything that Bertrand says, except for one thing, and that is how well he did at Brighton. Brighton's still doing well without him. So that tells me.
But guys, wait, hold up.
But he was behind that setup.
He set them up. He's the one who set them up to be successful, right? So Berzidi inherited his team.
He inherited the team, but if you talk to a Brighton fan, I've talked to a couple, and they've said this is a different way. We're playing a different way. This isn't the same. This isn't. That's the midfield. Remember, they had Basuma, Trossard, all these different players. Their fans are saying now this is a different team playing in a different way. So no, it's not Potter.
But his way worked though. When guys are what we're playing, his way worked because Brighton was doing well. So
they're doing well now. That's what I'm saying. They're doing well. If they fell to pieces, then I think I would easily thumbs up. I'd agree. But they're being managed really well. And I think with Chelsea are not being managed very well.
Yeah, I agree.
So the questions are going to start to come out now.
Yeah.
Who's managing that team? Who's buying the players? Yeah, it's like Ted Lasso. I know some of you guys are watching Ted Lasso. I love that series. But it's like Ted Lasso thing that's going on over there.
I disagree. I watched Chelsea play. I watched him play Southampton. Sterling missed some golden chances. They missed good chances. Ball kicked off the line. Sometimes your luck doesn't turn. We had it with Marino at Chelsea, and Marino 1 year before. Then next year, we're in the middle of the pack, and he got fired by Abramovich, right? And Marino wasn't a bad manager when he got fired. He had won the year before. So I do think we have to give him time. I think Bola will give him time. By this time next year, if he's in the same position, he won't have a job. That's for sure.
Okay.
Really? Do you think it will be that long?
Yeah, I'm with you, Paul. I don't think he'll make it that far. If they lose next 2 games, he's gone.
There's no way I think he gets fired. I don't think he gets fired this year.
I don't think he gets fired this season. Mind you, I've seen worse things, but because Bowley,
it's not Watford. It's not Watford, gents.
Yeah. No, I think
guys. You know who fire managers in England? Fans and the media.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
They're gonna turn on him. They're gonna turn. They will.
They are going to turn because we're starting to hear the rumblings at the moment now. But like I said, there's some Ted Lasso stuff going on in that team, and you have to now ask the questions, because if the answers that we're getting in, yes, he is managing a team, he is picking a team, yes, that is his system. I don't care what players you've got. Your job as a manager is to make it work. Don't care about your job.
Disrespecting Potter, calling him Ted Lasso. I can't.
Yeah. I don't care who you got in your team. When Arteta came and took over this team of Mustafi, Klasnach, the old Xhaka, and when he took over that team, it was a joke. Some of these guys actually thought that was a great team. I kept saying to them, the team is trash. And as soon as Arteta came in, he won the FA Cup with this team.
I'm sorry, Apollo. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that.
Whether you
I'm not buying that, Apollo. We were still in the top.
That's your opinion.
Exactly. With the Europa League final on the Emery.
No,
I'm not buying that.
We had two 8th place finishers. When he took over the team, we were in 14th place.
Apollo, that team was one game away from European glory.
Yes.
That ain't a bad team.
Yeah, look, they were in 14th place and had two 8th place finishers. That's where they were. Yeah, they were, and it's our opinion. It's your opinion. It's my opinion, and that's what we're here for. But he took over for me a dead stock team. Everyone's talking about winning the title. That team was nowhere near it. Yeah. But my point is, going back to Graham Potter, you're a manager. Don't care about players. To me, that's an excuse. You got to put your system in, implement it. We talked about this for years, didn't we, with Arteta? Arteta never took no for an answer. He said, this is how we're playing. I'm not bending my system for you. It's like in American football when you got your offensive philosophy and you see a quarterback that can't
you guys should be thanking Stan Kroenke to death.
Yeah, you start
which manager? Wait, guys.
Then makes you the team that you're not supposed to be. Football managers don't do that. They have their philosophies. They have their way of playing. If you go away from that, you lose it. And I think Graham Potter's done that. I think Graham Potter's gone away from his beliefs, his philosophies to try and bend the system.
No, Apollo, I disagree with you.
Guys, can we move on from Chelsea?
No, Apollo,
can we move on from Chelsea?
We didn't finish going through the stats, the results either.
Because I wanted to talk about the West Ham game where Ings scored 2 goals and Declan Rice scored his 2nd goal of the season. Woohoo!
No, we discussed that already, Tony.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, Declan Rice for Arsenal. As Bertram said, Declan Rice, ? And I'm personally thinking, well, for a guy to score 2 goals a season, really?
And they want 140, 120 for him? I have no idea what they're drinking over at West Ham. I have no idea what they're drinking.
Happy juice, man. Happy juice.
It's for me, guys. You don't need to score goals in order to be a great midfielder. We know that with Bissouma, and Bissouma's being ruined at Tottenham at the moment. If you look at the best players like Kante, Busquets, you'll get a few goals from them here and there. If your job is to be a defensive midfielder, then you should be measured in other areas other than scoring goals. Yeah. But my point is, Declan Rice, year on year, has led the league in tackles, interceptions, duels won. It's crazy. But you guys know, man, I when it comes to high cost and things like that, you got to show me. You've got to be, for me to spend that kind of money on you. Come on, you got to be Mbappe for me, man.
Wow,
you got to be all world. But is Declan Rice one of the best in the world at his position? No. So I'm looking elsewhere.
Yeah, but he's an English player. And English players are always overflated in price. Always overflated in price. So yeah, he probably worth that money. When you look at the way English players go, the money they go for, he's worth that money.
So I was theorizing today and say we should think about playing. You guys are gonna lose your mind on this. Play Jesus at the 8. That's from way left field.
No,
No. Just let simmer and think about it before you respond and say anything. Think about Jesus at the 8. Let it simmer. Think about the attributes required for that role. Not a Smith role, not Odegaard. Just make it simmer for a while and let it just sit. We can move on, but just let it sit for a while.
Okay, let's move on, shall we?
Yeah.
Just like Iwobi playing midfield now and Joe Linton playing midfield and seem to be doing really well. football is so static in their thinking. They're not creative. They're not deductive. They do the same thing over and over again. They live in this little bubble. They don't impress me the way they think and how they do things. I'm just not.
My opinion on that is always this guy has played 220 games for Man City, scored 93 goals, playing 94% of his starts was playing on the left. He comes to Arsenal, he's playing through the middle on the 9. I think I've always said this, that I've got no issues because Martinelli, I know Martinelli started to score a bit now, and his last game I thought was his best game all season. But the goals doesn't tell you the whole story. Martinelli, he's popped up with a few goals in the last 3 games, but he still hadn't played very well. Again, I'm not discounting the Everton game. I thought that was his best game of the season. I gave him a 9.5 in that game. But my point is, Jesus at the 8, traditionally that position was box-to-box midfielder. We know Aaron Ramsey. We know what the role entails. But the way it's changed now in regards to the way how it's evolved, which requires a player to play through the channels. I think you're losing his effectiveness because when he's on the left, he's running at defenders, not playing through the channels.
I said simmer on it. I didn't say give me a elongate. I said simmer on it.
I don't need.
No. Before you respond, I'm telling you. Before you respond and find what doesn't work, think about what works. We don't talk about it because we have Man U fan here, we have Liverpool fan. Let's not digress. Let it simmer, Apollo. Go away and think about it. Come back and we can talk about it some other time.
The answer's going to be the same, bro. Because I've thought about it before.
I think you don't need to simmer on it because ultimately, the way Jesus plays is a false 9. Yeah. So a false 9 is almost like an 8-9 because he can come deep. You'll find him in those 8 positions easily.
Tony, the way we play football nowadays, Tony, position doesn't even matter. Look at Zinchenko last game. Where the second assist comes from? What Arteta and Guardiola is doing is revolutionize the game, changing the game. That whole set position thing. It's not like you remember Dutch football in the 70s where you can play anywhere. It's evolving that concept. I'm telling you.
And the thing is, and on top of that, Bertram,
that's what Klopp did with Liverpool. He's changed the way they play.
He made them interchangeable, which Bertram's talked about for years. He's been talking about interchangeable forward players who were able to adapt their versatility throughout the game. In the old days, versatility was a word of, oh, you can play the 8. You can play the 10. Oh, you can play the 11. No. Today's football, versatility is something different. It means while the game is going on, you are playing all these positions. Yeah. That's what versatility means nowadays.
I'll trump you on that one, Apollo, because back in the old days, we didn't have these funny names. No. We just had defenders, midfielders,
and strikers. You didn't have forwards, you had strikers.
If you was a midfielder, you was expected to win the ball and create and score. That was your job.
Box the box.
Yeah, that's the science in it. Hemi says, how about Trossard left 8? I think he'll do. I agree. That's a good shout on that.
Not defensive enough. Not defensive enough. I'm telling you, I thought Jesus plays defense like he's a madman.
So wait.
They put in the tackle. Trossard doesn't really play defense.
Let me ask you a question.
Anyway, we should allow the other fans of their team to get in. So we have been dominating with Arsenal stuff.
Like, to ask if no Trossard goes in as number 8 or no Jesus, who comes out of the number 8 position for Arsenal?
Xhaka.
Yeah.
We need more goals from there. We need more goals.
Wow. You take out Xhaka.
Yeah.
After this season.
Yeah, he started on fire.
I think his position is at risk, actually.
Yeah. He started on fire, but he's a good system player.
Michael, you've been listening to too much Match of the Day, man. Hey, listen, I even see them turning up with him in all Premier League teams for this season. I'm like, have they got the wrong player? Because Thomas Partey is the one who's been dominating. So I think they got the wrong player.
You know the way we're playing? Everything works. Everybody works. Everything works.
And it works well.
Yeah, it works well.
See that piece, you could take that cog out of it. It could change it differently. It was working well for you. Like, sad to say, but it's working very well.
Yeah.
And it's
when Man City has 37% possession against you, you know you're doing something right.
Yep.
And
Yeah, he
it's working even better because you can take the striker out like Jesus, and you can take Nketiah out, and you can interchange at that position. You take Partey out. Normally the team will fall to its knees without Thomas Partey. Jorginho's gone in there and shored it up. So there are issues even with right back. We used to scream about right backs before when we had Bellerin. Now we were stuck with 3 right backs, and you can interchange the right backs now. You've got guys who can play centre back, left centre back, right wing. You've got 2 guys on the left who are quality. I mean, this. I said to Tony last week, look at the bench. Look at. You've got guys coming off the bench, man, like Tierney, Smith Rowe. These were guys who were fighting for top 4 last year. Yeah, they're on the bench. The quality is. We're getting better as the year goes on. Whereas last year we were getting worse when the injuries.
Right.
So what's the team of the season now? What's the team of the season?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, guys. Let's start with goalkeeper, and we'll do a consensus here. We won't do what we did last time with. We won't do with a maximum of 2 players per team. I thought that was driving everybody crazy. So we'll just go with what the hot hand is. So what's your shout, Tony? Mine has got to be Pope. So Nick Pope. But you could argue a few names coming in there, but for me, he's been the standout guy. No one's done what he's done as far as clean sheets this season at Newcastle.
Well, simple. If I'm starting a team out of all the Premier League goalkeepers, I'm picking Ederson all day.
Ederson. That's interesting. Wow.
All day. Best feet in the league by way as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's had some errors this year.
Had some errors this year. Would you put him as the best this season, Tony?
I wouldn't say he was the best this season.
Worse errors than that Nick Pope. Oh, let me come out the box and head it. Oh no, let me grab the ball.
Yeah, Nick Pope has been the best goalkeeper this year.
He's been I mean,
he's been the best goalkeeper.
Does that say he is?
No. Watch the Newcastle say he is. No, I agree, Tony. With his feet, his distribution is not there. In fact, he struggles to run. He struggles to run, frankly.
When it comes to distribution and playing out, I think Alisson beats.
No. Edison's by far the best. No, it's not even close.
Hold on.
Alisson passed the ball to the forward sometime.
No, we've had a bad season this season.
Yeah,
we've had a bad season this season.
Let me check my headphones here to make sure that they're working. Neil, did you just say Alisson's been better than Pope this season?
No, not this season.
What are you talking about this season, bro? This is a Premier League team so far this season.
This season? No. Okay, this season I'd have to go for Pope as well.
Yeah, Pope is the best.
So we've got 2 for Pope and 1 for Ederson. Michael?
I'll go for Pope, he's good. If you talk about form in this season, it has to be Pope. This year, Pope.
Yeah, it's Pope. It's Pope.
Yeah, I'll be fair.
Okay, let me type that one in.
That was the only name that came to mind for me, frankly.
Yeah.
Okay,
not Alisson, Neil. Not after he passed that ball to the Real Madrid player. I couldn't.
Look. He was just giving him a chance. He was giving him a chance. Yeah?
You know how bad it was? The player turned his back, and he still did.
So this is a difficult one for me, guys, because if I personally think the best right back in the league is Reece James, but he's been injured this season.
He's been injured for a while.
I know. So I can't put him in this position based on who he is. I think I've got to hand it on my side to Kieran Trippier. Tony, who are you going with?
Newcastle today.
Yeah, Trippier all day.
Neil?
As much as I hate saying it, yeah, Trippier.
Michael?
I'll go with you. I love him to I love him to sign for Man U. When the time has come, he's perfect.
There's quite a few LFT players I'd love to say, but I just can't say this season.
I'm surprised to not hear you talk to put Wan-Bissaka in there.
Not yet.
Wan-Bissaka.
He just played. No, Wan-Bissaka. I like him. He's a South London man, and I like him, but it took him a bit of time to adapt to the Man United way. I think the second half of the season, and he has to own that position. Right now, he's still competing with Dalot. With Trippier, has got that unlock, and in the final phase of the pitch, he's got more to offer. Even he can take free kicks. So I will go for Trippier. But in time, I'll say Wan-Bissaka. You ask me, I'll say Wan-Bissaka.
Michael, can I ask you? Dalot looks a baller, mate.
Of course. He's good.
I mean, to me, I think Wan-Bissaka's got a problem. I think Dalot.
Big problem.
Yeah,
but
I think Dalot over Wan-Bissaka in a couple of years, easily in a year's time.
I actually thought that Wan-Bissaka was actually on his way out. That's how bad I thought he was for United.
And I was with them.
That's how bad he's been for United. He has not been that great.
But he's worked it out, and he's worked it out. That's what. Oh no, he's working it out. That's what I'll say. He's not worked out yet.
So, Bertram.
I am just trying to think of all the right backs. So the only right backs I can think about would be three. Would be Trippier, Walker, and Ben White. And I haven't seen Walker enough this year because he's been injured somewhat. But he's a difficult player to get around. He's a difficult player to go by. When he plays, last year in the Champions League, that's why they lost, because he wasn't there. So I mean, Walker is excellent, but I don't. Trippier's been good, and the record for Newcastle will tell you their back five has been very, very good, including Guimaraes. So I'll give the Trippier, but I think Walker has to be a consideration.
Yeah, I'll back you. That's done. Bertrand.
So it's Trippier then, right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So it's Trippier. So let's get the two centre backs out of the way, and let's do them as a tandem. This is really tough for me.
No, don't do tandem. Let's give people no do tandem. Let's not do tandem.
Okay. So this is the right centre back.
Yeah.
Only one man for me, and that's Saliba. Tony.
Wow. There's a lot of good choices there, bro. There's a lot of good choices there. I mean, you know how much I champion Saliba. I love the kid. If I have to go ceiling, I have to go with Saliba because I think he'll become greater than Van Dijk, greater than Cancelo, but right now, just because they got the experience, it's tough for me to look away from. Varane is having a great season.
Yeah.
Cancelo. It's a toughie, man.
Silva is not playing bad either.
No, there's lots of choices.
Silva's, before you get injured, even though Chelsea's not doing well, Silva, when I watch him play, he's playing well.
I'm going to have to go with Cancelo.
So one for Saliba, one for Cancelo. Neil.
Which Cancelo?
Man City.
He plays on the left, doesn't he? Look.
Cancelo's at Bayern. What are you talking about?
He's at
Bayern Munich, and he plays left back. He said right centre back, Tony.
Yeah, it's
right centre back, Tony.
It's Saliba's
I thought you were going to say Dan Burn or somebody. I was going to say somebody who's playing on the right for Newcastle because they have the best goal,
defensive.
Whatever.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Raphael Varane then. Raphael Varane.
Yeah.
So one for Varane, the one for Saliba. Neil, you got the conch.
Yeah, for me, to be honest, I can't really say between Varane. He has had a good season so far.
Yeah,
and you know how much I hate United.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm gonna hate United. Yeah, that's our biggest rivals, right? So as much as I've got to say Varane. Saliba's done well, and you guys are doing well for where you are. But I think the way United have come back into it, and they've kind of, in a way, they've kind of silently come back into it as well. Yeah, couple mistakes with the teams above them, they're back in it. They're back in it. So
that's two for Varane, one for Saliba. Michael, you got the conch.
Yeah, you know where I'm gonna go. I have to go Varane, experience, World Cup winner, Champions League winner, experienced player, Varane.
Interesting. I've never heard of that one before. Bertram?
I was going to say Varane, but I'm going to say Saliba because we play very high up the field. We expose her to centre back. They have to play one-on-one, game in, game out. You look at us playing against any team. And I watched Varane. Varane was poor last year. He's much, much better this year, frankly.
Yeah.
But I would say Saliba, just given the one-on-one situation that Saliba faces every single game, Varane has more cover than he does. So I'm gonna say Saliba, but I think it's neck and neck. I vacillate between the two, but I'm gonna say Saliba.
So if you guys thought that position was tough. The next position is going to be even harder. And
so, Apollo, just because Michael has to leave us very shortly, can Michael run through his 11 or the remainder of his team?
He can do, but I'm going to have to write it down. So
no, that'd be hard for me, mate. I'm struggling. If I did mine, it'd be all Man U, but I can't do that. But, I'll be honest. So, but I could give you the next position before I go. The left back of centre back. That's what we're going on.
Yeah,
left centre back. Yeah.
Oh, like
so I would have gone for Alessandro Martinez.
Yeah.
What about Botman?
No, the only person that I could see who would have been top would have actually. He's
Botman?
not played well. No, Schlur from Newcastle.
But Botman plays on the left, doesn't he?
Yeah, Botman plays.
Botman plays on the left.
Yeah.
No.
Botman plays inside. Yeah, he's a left-footed centre back.
It is. He's right. Botman plays
Botman left. No, Botman plays left.
Oh, okay. So then
Botman is guys. They have a goal. They have the best. There's a reason why they have the best defensive record in the league.
So mine would be him then. Mine would be him then.
Yeah, I say Botman. Martinez plays well actually for a 5'1" centre back.
Yeah, he's a rash.
He's physical. He plays above his height, but I think Botman has been solid. I mean, their defense is stellar.
Yeah, I mean it's a toughie. I mean, we have to give Gabriel his flowers. He's
been brilliant.
He's solid. Game in, game out. He has an error in him, but he's still part of a team that's got 11 clean sheets this year.
Yeah, I couldn't pick him because I picked Saliba, so I have to make a choice between the two. I couldn't pick both.
Okay.
So that's why. But no, he's been, and they play isolated centre back. They're not playing centre back that has. Zinchenko is not covering Gabriel. In fact, Zinchenko is nowhere to be found.
I need to get to Mike with one question before he leaves. Yeah.
All right,
because
let's go.
I've been waiting to bring this one out to the table.
I think I know what it is.
Since the morning.
Because
me and Mike, we have this conversation.
54 key passes.
25-year-old Marcus Rashford against 21-year-old Bukayo Saka.
You can't say the age. You can't do the age thing in this. You can't do it.
Michael,
listen. I'm just telling you, it's like the judge knows now.
54.
The judge knows. One is 4 years younger than the other.
Michael, didn't you know he was third in the league in chances created last season?
54 people.
Yeah. Number two was Kevin De Bruyne. Number one was Martin Odegaard. Odegaard was the number one creative player last season, and Saka was number 3 last season. Number 3. So those key passes is doesn't surprise me.
So
yeah,
Mike,
I think Rashford has come on leaps and bounds though, hasn't he?
Oh,
I mean, Rashford started the season slow, but he's been on fire.
I want to put him on the spotlight. Mike, what are you saying, bro?
Before I go, I have to commend the both of them. And I said it to you earlier today. Before I go, I have to commend not Sancho, forget him. I have to commend Rashford and Saka, because after the World Cup, the English media turned on them, So for them to come back from that, both of them competing to be the best, they're amazing. But stats don't lie. I'm not happy what I saw, to be honest with you. This season, it hurts. This season, Saka's had a better start to the season, so I would say he's been the better player. But on form right now, I'll go with Rashford. But the whole season so far, I'll go for Saka.
I'm gonna break something down to you because I've done my homework, Mike. Because you know me, right? I'm a guy. I do my work, right? So I went to see a couple of people talking about Marcus Rashford, and what I've realized is Marcus Rashford benefits because Man United play him as an out-and-out striker. They know.
No.
Play him up top. Yeah? Play him up top. He plays wing, but he plays inverted sometimes. And he gets more opportunity to be the last man up against your single defender.
I do want to say one thing, though, about Rashford. He's probably the best striker of the football in the Premier League. He can hit a dead ball better than I've seen any other player in the league hit it.
Kane?
Yes, better than Kane. He can hit a dead ball better than any player in the league. That's where most of his goals comes from. He can
What's
strike a
Bertram
ball.
got to say? Bertram, you tell us what you feel.
The best dead ball player in the Premier League plays for Southampton.
Southampton.
The best
There you go.
dead ball hitter in the Premier League plays for Southampton.
There you go.
Without not even close. And he does it week in, week out with people in front of him also.
Well, Trent, see you later, Mike. Have a good one. When Trent's on form, he's just as good.
And
He's
Trent also is. No, Rashford can strike a dead ball. We agree. He can strike a ball. Can strike a ball, but Ward-Prowse, dead alive, half dead, that ball is flying.
Neil, who are you having? Rashford or Sancho? Or Saka?
Osaka.
It's hard. The reason why I say it's hard, if you asked me at the beginning or first sort of 4 or 5 games in, I would have said Saka. But Rashford has just been on fire of late. Yeah, he can't not score right now.
So you know the difference between the two of them? When Rashford picks it up, defenders get nervous.
Yeah.
In fact, they're backing up, and he's going at 2 of them, and he's weaving between them, and he's creating havoc. Now Saka is more deliberate in his play, right? He jockeys you, goes outside, go back inside. Doesn't go outside a lot.
I think
he's also very thoughtful about how he plays. Actually,
I think they're both. I mean, they're similar, but two very different plays in the way they play. Anyway, the way they carry the ball.
Yeah.
Rashford, it's more about, obviously he's got a bit more experience, and he's been in more bigger games, and that's why I think he's starting to come together again now, because all that experience is now coming out. And as I said, he cannot score goals, but I suppose going forward, when you're looking at the future, I would lean more towards Saka.
Yeah, because for me, it's the creative side. If you look at Marcus Rashford as a creative player, that's not his game.
No, he's not. But he's scoring goals, and that's his job. His job is to score goals.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think the system for Saka is designed for him to create, because he hugs that line.
Saka acts more like a winger, in my view. He's more like a winger. Rashford's not a winger. He's not a winger type player.
Any player on our entire team.
So let's go back to last season when Ronaldo was playing at the top and they had Rashford out on the left. People said that he was just being wasted out there. He did nothing.
You can't bring Ronaldo into it, because Ronaldo was a
No, I'm not bringing Ronaldo. I'm talking about flexibility as a creative player. And I've seen Rashford on the left, and he's nowhere near the winger or wingman that Saka is. He's
I think here's the difference to me. When United play, somehow, when the game is over, you're looking for Rashford. Not if he scored, how many he scored. That's what it's gotten to, which is you just expect him to score every single game. And when he picks the ball up, you expect something dangerous to happen. Now, Saka has been brilliant, especially of late, frankly. He started off well, had his normal lull, but he's brilliant. And he actually scores goal with his right foot nowadays, which is amazing because he doesn't have one.
So, guys, I'm still on this list, guys. Who's going to go there at right back? We've got Botman so far. We've got
left centre back. You mean left inside? Left centre back. Yeah, left centre back.
Me and Bertram have said Botman for Newcastle.
I'm saying Botman.
Yeah. Neil?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really argue with Newcastle's back four at this moment in time. They've got one of the best defensive leagues, best stats, I should say, not league stats. Yeah, I've got to go with Botman.
How's Van Dijk playing this? How's Van Dijk playing this year, Neil?
He's injured most of it.
He's come back and he's actually scored a goal in his last game. To be honest, I can't mention any Liverpool player right now because we've just had our season has been so bad. It's like two different teams. Last season compared to this season, it's two different teams. They've got you see the same players. You physically seen the same players, but that's a different mind in that body.
But remember what I said to you. Remember, Neil, what I said to you? I told you no one had given more and received less than Liverpool last season. Yeah. And here is where it's gone.
Yeah. They're just every position. They're just like
they probably played the most dominant Man City side that I've ever seen because this year's Man City team is nowhere near as good as last year's. Yeah. When you got rid of Sterling, Jesus, and you just couldn't. They were unplayable last season, and it was the last 13 games. It was you could not afford to lose a single point.
Exactly.
And it was that game I talked to you about when you played them, and it was 1-1. And I said
Yes.
to you, if you don't win it, you won't win the league. And I was right.
Yeah.
Because it was, and that took everything out of them. And what you're seeing now is a mentally beaten down Liverpool team. They just cannot give any more. It killed them what happened last season.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I have to agree with you.
who would you say then?
Go for Botman.
Botman. So Tony.
I mean, it makes no difference to the final analysis, but I'm going to go with Gabriel because I just think of the left-sided players, if I have to choose between Botman and Gabriel, I'm choosing Gabriel. He's my player, so I'm gonna start with Varane and Gabriel, but I'm bringing on Saliba in a year's time for Varane.
So the left back situation is a very strange one because I would have said Cancelo, and I think a lot of people would have said the same thing, but he's gone now. So do I still rate him for the first part of the season, even though he's gone? I'm not too sure.
He wasn't playing a lot. He was on the bench quite a bit. That's why he left.
Yeah, I mean,
they were playing Lewis a lot. They were playing the kid. They weren't playing him.
No, but Lewis, he's been impressive though. He hasn't.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, Cancelo wasn't playing. That's why he left.
Yeah.
He wanted game time.
I don't know. For me, I've got to look at Luke Shaw. I've got to look at Zinchenko. It's a tough one, man.
It's probably going to be Luke Shaw.
Shaw's another one. Luke Shaw's another one who's had a new lease of life.
Yeah.
And he's looked unplayable ever since the Euros.
If it wasn't for injuries, I would have gone with Andy Robertson.
Yeah.
I thought Robertson's been okay this season, actually. I don't think, I know Liverpool get blasted, but Robertson's played okay.
Yeah, he's as solid as they come. He's solid at both ends. He's solid at
he's
both
been
ends.
He's been one of our better players, but unfortunately, we can't have one player playing well and all the other playing crap, which is what we've been doing this season. Which is why I say I can't mention any Liverpool players in this team.
I mean, the problem for me is Arsenal have the second best defense in the league. And when a lot of publications, BBC, Match of the Day, Sky, BT Sports, when they did their first team of the half of the season, Arsenal fans complained that there was only 2 players on that list. We've just gone through the defense. Pope is in goal, Trippier, Varane, Botman, and we're on left back now, and it don't look like Zinchenko is going to get in there. So we've gone through the whole defense, and not a single player's made it.
Partey getting in my team, so don't worry about it. We're gonna.
so Neil and Tony, who's your left back?
So for me, I've got to go with Zinchenko because what he plays, where he plays, how he plays, the man is the best footballing left back in the country.
Most intelligent.
Now. Give no doubt. I mean, as great as I think defensively and offensively, if Andy Robertson is on his game, he's probably the better player defensively, and he probably gives you kittens going forward. But right now, the way Zinchenko plays in a different kind of role, different system, he is for me he's a joy to watch.
He's the prototypical. Let me say something to back that up.
But he's not really a left back.
He's not a left back though. That's what I'm talking about. He's not a left back.
Yeah, what he's doing, no left back can do. No, Robinson.
I won't say no can do it. No one's been asked to do it. We can't say they can't do it.
No.
But he's not a left back.
Tony, Bertram, Tierney's been asked to do it. He just can't.
Well, he did it in the last game. For 15 minutes, he was inside there.
Yeah, but he didn't. I didn't see any balls. Yeah, he's learning. I didn't see any balls coming in.
But Zinchenko plays left back for his country. He plays the 8 for his country, doesn't he?
Yeah,
so that's where he normally plays. So it's not like it's a strange position to him.
Neil?
Yeah.
You know where my heart is, but it's just like, oh man.
You're gonna say Luke Shaw again, aren't you? Okay. No, because I know how you hate voting for Man United.
Yeah, I do. It's difficult. To be honest, I think Luke Shaw's probably been in at least the last 6-7 games. It's got to be him for me. Throughout half the season, Zinchenko did really well in the beginning, as far as I was concerned. Didn't think he was going to do that well when he swapped teams. Robertson hasn't hit the heights I know he can hit. Any other season, I would have gone for Robertson every time, but I can't. So my heart has to say, oh yeah, you're right. Shaw, I have to go for Shaw.
So Apollo just expressed some concern. Apollo expressed concern about only one Arsenal player in the back five. How many? And Arsenal are first. Who's the second place team?
City.
How many players do they have in the back five?
None.
Exactly. None.
But we're talking about. We're kind of talking about individual players rather than them playing as a
but
team,
you expect the top teams to have be filling up those slots, right?
Yeah.
The top two teams have one of the 5 players in the back five.
Yep.
So we're trying to be objective and independent in our assessment.
Yeah. No, I've got. Unfortunately, I've got to go for Shaw.
I'm going to say Shaw too, actually.
So let's move to the midfield now. So midfield. Let's have 2 holding midfielders, and then we'll go for the number 10.
Fabinho.
Really? Why?
Fabinho.
Why two? You want to put Casemiro and Partey. Done.
Guys, why do you have to make this more difficult?
No, Manu does actually. Manu does. Yeah. With spread and Casemiro.
Guys, let's get the players on board. 3 midfielders, 2 midfilders, whatever.
Okay.
Let's just
play it. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
So let's look for your defensive mid. I'm going first on the list for me is Thomas Partey, man.
I'm saying Partey too.
Yeah.
I'm saying Partey.
He's unplayable.
Casemiro has a point, but I'm saying Partey.
Yeah.
He's just unplayable.
We haven't lost a game with Partey on the field.
I've not seen any single player get the better of him this season.
We haven't lost a game with him on the field.
Neil, anyone different?
I would have said Casemiro, but only because the difference he's made to the team. Yeah, not as an individual player, because when he doesn't play, United do a lot. They look a lot weaker.
So here it is, Neil.
As an individual player, Partey's just been. He has been better as an individual player rather than a team player.
So here it is, Neil. You said because of what he's made to the team. Well, where's his team in comparison to where's Partey's team is? And then
I'm just saying because if you look at United, if you look at what Casemiro's done since he's come to United, they look a much better outfit. He's made a bigger difference.
It's true.
Yeah, he's made a bigger difference to what Partey's part of your blood. Yeah, right. So you expect him to do as well, even though he had to prove himself. Yeah, but Casemiro's just come in and he's just done it. Nobody expected him to play that well.
I would say Thomas Partey had exactly the same effect when he came to Arsenal. Because think about what we had before Thomas Partey. We didn't. It was immediately a Rolls Royce in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, but he went out on loan first, though, didn't he?
No. He went out injured. He went out injured. He went on loan.
When he came first, when he first came, I was like, "What the hell's going on?" I haven't seen a midfielder do this since Patrick Vieira.
Yeah, me and Tony. I remember me and Tony. We've been to a couple of games, but there was one game me and Tony went to, and we just looked at each other and was like, "This guy is receiving a bad pass from the back 4. He's got 2 or 3 midfielders bearing in on him. He's able to control the ball, fight off the players, and seam the ball through into transition consistently, time after time, without fault." And it's just like, how is he doing it? And sometimes the ball's getting played to him from all kind of angles. He has the ability to put it under control while fighting off the tackles, and then it's transition. And it's just like, I've not seen anybody do that since Patrick Vieira. And he's doing it so effortlessly.
The game that sealed it for me for Partey was when Atletico Madrid played Liverpool at Anfield and beat them. I think it was 1-0. And when Liverpool had their midfield with Wijnaldum and Henderson running riot, and he was a rock.
Don't mention Henderson. Well,
Henderson was playing well. Then. You were winning.
He should not be in a red shirt. He should not be in a red shirt, as far as I'm concerned. Don't mention Henderson. Yeah.
Your winning team was was firing, but he was a rock in that middle, playing for Simeone, and his offensive skills were restricted playing for Atletico Madrid. You get to see his entire game playing for us. So I'm a Partey fan. So
Dan Burns.
I'm gonna say Dan Burns in terms of. I guess that must be left back. Or is it right back? Or is it right centre half? Where's Dan playing? Yeah, right centre half.
So you're saying Partey as well, Tony?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm saying Partey.
Neil? Doesn't really matter, does it?
Doesn't really matter. No.
So we're looking for 2 more midfielders to go in there. It's going to be difficult. I mean,
well, you got 2 minutes at the moment. I'm thinking of Bruno Fernandes. Those are very good players as well. How are you going to keep them out?
Well, I mean, so first of all, I'm looking for 2 defensive midfielders, although Partey can single pivot. So you can actually play him in front of that and then have 2. You can have a number 8 essentially and then a number 10 in front of him. But I know one of my players in there is going to be Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
So we only have one more position because I'm going to agree on Kevin De Bruyne too. Because he's playing well or not,
KDB,
better.
You can't leave him out. You just can't leave him out.
So who's the next player? Is it Fernandes? Is it
Fernandes? It's got to be Fernandes. He's on fire right now.
What about Odegaard?
What about Gomes?
Gomes as well.
Gomes.
What about
there's more holding midfielder?
What about Maddison? What about Maddison?
No, not Maddison.
No.
Too injured. He's been too injured. Been too injured. Yeah. But he's a very good player.
Having a great season.
So,
who?
Almiron.
Well, he's on the left. He's on the left. He's on the right side.
He's on the right. He's in Saka's position.
I think, if I think about players good season, Polino, who plays for Fulham, who's been a beast, but more is the 8, but he's been a beast also. If you watch Fulham play, he's all over the place. He's making tackles everywhere. He's the one driving them in midfield.
So,
okay. You were talking about James Ward-Prowse?
Doesn't do enough in open play to warrant being in the team.
Not at all.
But great on a dead ball. I would say
great on a dead ball, but nothing else in the game.
I think it's between Odegaard and Fernandes, actually.
I tell you what's interesting, Bertram, is that nobody's mentioned Declan Rice or Moses Caicedo.
Well, hold on, guys. Listen.
No, because you're talking about CDM. I'm thinking about them as CDM now. But you're right, in the 8th position.
Yeah, you guys, you have to remember Leandro Trossard in the first half of the season was on BBC's list because that's where he was playing for Brighton. Yeah. So Leandro Trossard, he deserves a mention there. Tony, don't look at me like that. He was in BBC.
He's on the 3rd list. He's on the 2nd list.
Okay, look, I'm going to go with Maddison. Who are you going with, Neil?
Maddison.
I think Maddison's been unplayable.
All right. Okay.
So
he hasn't played enough. He hasn't played enough to be unplayable.
No. So
he's not even unplayable. He's not even unplayable. If you say to me, I got to play Leicester with James Maddison, I ain't worried.
I am.
Well, Tottenham would be because he scored 2 against them last game.
Yeah, I am. He's been brilliant. He's been
for me, to be honest,
I'm glad you mentioned Tottenham because the player I would choose above Maddison is Bentancur.
Yeah,
he's too injured. Yeah. He was off for 2 months and he's just gone.
But Maddison's been out for a while, Apollo. When he came back to the World Cup, he was injured.
Madison's played more football than.
Can I make my choice?
Yes, make a choice, Neil.
Right, okay, so for me, I've got to look at the teams overall and where they are and what players have affected them the most. Fernando's been good, but ever since Ronaldo's gone this season. So it's not the whole of the season so far. It's just since Ronaldo's gone. For me, I think Guimaraes has done more. Guimaraes has done more over the season than Fernandes.
You're going with 2 holding midfielders then?
Forget that.
Guimaraes is versatile.
Yeah,
I'm going to say Guimaraes. You know what, guys? Let me back up for a second. Nick Pope, Botman, Trippier, Guimaraes. That's 4.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Guys, we have one Arsenal player in there.
Right. I'm not sure that's right.
The team that's running away with the league. Yeah, no Saliba, no Ramsdale, no Ben White, no Zinchenko.
But Man City only has 1 and they're 2nd place.
Yeah, I know.
It's hard to leave out Guimaraes though. He's just a brilliant player.
I know he is, and that's why I talked about him. That's why I said, you know,
He's a
Yeah, but
brilliant player.
he's done it this season. He's done it in most games. Whereas, as I said, Fernandes started coming back into his zone like all the other United players once Ronaldo had gone.
And even though Odegaard has been brilliant, he's sometimes have a number of games where he goes missing. So I don't.
Yeah. No,
I think Guimaraes had a bad game. Actually, I haven't seen Guimaraes have a bad game.
No, that's what I'm going for. I'm going for Guimaraes.
Odegaard has got 9 goals and 7 assists.
I know. Because we score a lot of goals. Newcastle doesn't score goals. Newcastle. That's why
surely that has to be impacting your decision.
Yeah, it does. You know what, guys? Odegaard is a really good.
I've been waiting to say that all along. I'm like sitting there thinking, what are these men on? Are they not considering the amount of goals and assists that Odegaard has got?
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna tell you guys. I've got to change my vote to Odegaard. I'm sorry, man. He's just elite. He's just
Odegaard
elite.
and De Bruyne for me, bruv. Simple.
Yeah, he's just.
So I was thinking my team of the season. I have De Bruyne playing. In fact, I have 3 across. I don't even have a 10. I have 3 across. I have 3 across. De Bruyne on the right, Partey in the middle, Guimaraes on the left, even though he's a right footer. That's what I'm thinking. So you can't score on us because we're rock solid. I get the 4 up top or the 3 up top. Go do your thing. You don't have to even come back and cover. But I do agree that the offensive potency of Odegaard make it hard to leave him out.
Yeah.
So Guimaraes, Newcastle have enough players. I'm gonna say Odegaard.
Oh my God!
You can't be like 5th position and me giving you more than 3 players. So I'm gonna say Odegaard. I have no players.
You don't want me to change my mind now, don't you?
No, it doesn't matter because all 3 of us.
I know it doesn't matter. Exactly, it doesn't matter, is it? I'm just making up the numbers right now, yeah.
And frankly, Arsenal will only get 1 more player in the team, so I have to have at least 3 players in the team for the team that's leading. So
Neil, that we have got 3 Arsenal representatives in.
And don't have any Arsenal.
This with a few other.
I mean, don't even ask me. I'll just sit and just agree with you guys. Yeah, I'll just sit and agree with you guys. Yeah.
I think we should have done this with other team members in the.
I think the team picks itself after this. Actually.
Yeah.
The top 3 pick themselves.
Yeah. So do we all agree on Saka? Because
yes, we agree on Saka.
So Saka's on the right, Haaland is in the middle,
and Rashford on the left.
And Rashford, yep.
So United has 2 players. Arsenal has what? 3?
3.
Arsenal has 3. Newcastle has 3.
4. Is it 3 or 4? 3.
Man City has 2. Man U, that's evenly distributed. So nobody outside the top 5 got into the team. No Spurs players, because Harry Kane doesn't get it over Haaland. And nobody outside the top 5 is in the team. That's interesting.
Right, hold on. I've got to take a picture of that because Tony's eyes was closed when I snipped it. So everybody smile for the camera. Right, this is going to be our team. Yeah, look at Neil showing his teeth there. Right, let me just save this picture and I'm going to put this on Twitter.
No Liverpool player. None of the 41 Chelsea players made it. Right. And they had more opportunities to get the team. Give them their number. None of the 41 players made it.
Yeah, you'd have thought the amount of players that they brought in, you'd get at least one or 2. Exactly.
And Silva probably the only one you think about, right?
Yeah.
Look, listen, Andrew is throwing some lyrics into the.
Rico Lewis is not there.
Rico Lewis, man.
Yeah, no, not there yet.
He's a player to watch. He's a player to watch. Rico Lewis
he's a good player.
Yeah. So, guys, are you happy with our team? Neil, you happy with that team?
No, because there's no LFC players in there, but yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
It used to be a lot of LFC players between Salah and Mane and Van Dijk and Alisson. Those 4s were almost guaranteed year after year. And then you have Robertson on the left. You should have like 5 or 6 players on the team.
So I'd like to extend the conversation around Liverpool, if I may. I think we need to start wrapping this up because of the time.
Bobby Firmino leaving.
I wanted to bring this to the table. The soon departing Bobby Firmino. Now, it's funny because it wasn't long ago Arsenal were looking at players to come in as a striker, and I mentioned his name because his stats are ridiculous.
They are, but I mean, you look at Edu. Edu's the Brazilian guy, right? Edu's the guy who used to bring all the Brazilians in, and well, quite frankly, he still is because we have Jesus there, we have Martinelli, but the thing with him is what we did last year. We brought in a lot of young talent, and then this season we brought in the experienced players, the guys who were Premier League winners, who had been there and done it. I'm not sure whether Firmino fits that bill for what he wants to do.
Firmino's at the stage now that he's starting to come towards the end of his career. Yeah. And if he's in any of the top teams, he's going to spend a lot of the time on the bench.
Yeah. So
Firmino is not defined by stats, guys. Firmino's game is not defined by stats.
No,
Firmino does much more than what the stats tell you.
Of course.
Tell you go pick up deep and put a tackle in and play the ball between the line and put between somebody's leg and be the pre-assist. It doesn't give you all that stats for Firmino.
Yeah,
he has good stats. He scored over 100 goals, but he is a really good player.
He does it all. But what Klopp's been looking at, obviously, of late is for him to be contributing with the goals, and he's not doing that.
The problem is he's injured all the time, Neil.
He's injured all the time. But even when he's not injured, he's coming on, as a sub. Yeah, you got to look at it from Bobby's point of view. Is that look, he's coming towards, he's coming towards the end of his career. Yeah, he wants to finish playing, not sitting on a bench watching other players around him play. And for me, hats off to him. Thanks a lot for the contribution that he helped bring success to the team. I think it's about time that he moved on. Yeah, just so that he can finish his career how he wants to finish his career, which is not sitting on the bench.
He has a team lined up. There's no doubt in my mind he has a team lined up.
Yeah.
He's a free agent. He's a team lined up.
Who do you think it is?
I don't know, but I know he has a team lined up.
Do you think he goes out to pasture in somewhere like America or Qatar? Or do you think he's got ambitions to, still compete maybe in Germany, France, or Spain even?
I could see him in Italy.
Okay.
I can see him in Italy. I can see him in Spain.
Hold on, guys. I'll be back in a second. I got
because he has a Spain game, doesn't he? He has a Spain game.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That technical ability. He has that kind of game. You don't have to run. Yeah. You don't have to be overly quick. Playing tight spaces. So, he has that kind of ability.
I think he'll do well at clubs like Atletico. That'd be a good shout for him.
Sometimes they go back home. Sometimes they're like, come to Europe, made the money. Go back play for my old team, but I don't think he's there yet. I think he still has something left.
No, he's started the coming towards the end of his career, so he's still got quite a few games, a couple, maybe 1-2 seasons left before he starts looking at going out to pasture.
Right. Plus, Tony, we have some Apple money we need to spend here in America.
Absolutely,
MLS. We have some Apple money. Yeah, we need to spend that money.
Yeah, and I have to agree with Andrew Roach that Mane is a big miss for us. He's a big miss.
And that's about stats again. Mane made the right back's life hell when he plays.
Of course.
Always in your face, physical, elbow, make it difficult for you. So him not being there, also covers some of Salah's deficiency because Salah doesn't really play a lot of defense. He fakes it. He fakes it a lot of times. so Robertson doesn't get the help. That's part of the problem Robertson's facing. Yeah. Right? When you had somebody on the right like Henderson or Wijnaldum, when your midfield was covering those deficiencies, it wasn't obvious. I've been telling people for a while, Robertson can't defend himself.
All right, so let me move on the conversation because I think we want to wrap this up in the next 10 minutes, boys and girls. So we're on Liverpool. I just want to bottom that out. How do you see this big game this weekend going, Neil?
Do you know what? As much as I hate saying this, United are on much better form right now, and I can see United winning. But I'll be happy for a draw, to be honest.
Okay.
I'd be happy for a
Bertram, how do you see it going?
I see a 2-2 game. I think Liverpool will be motivated. I think if Nunez is not in, if they have their full team with Jota, Nunez, is Thiago back?
Thiago, we're hoping he be back. He should be back, but
then you have Van Dijk, Robertson. You have almost your full team. Canada should be back there, right?
Yeah, but a lot of these players have been playing throughout the season before their little nickels.
But you haven't had your full team though. You've had them in pockets. So Canati goes out, Van Dijk comes in.
No, but we've had them for the games against the lower teams, and we haven't done that well. You're talking about a resurgent United. You're not talking about when United were playing bad when Ronaldo was there.
I'm gonna say a draw. I'm picking a draw.
If we can keep Rashford out, and keep Fernandes quiet, we can get the win. Definitely
you don't have anybody on the right side to keep Rashford out. You better double team him.
Exactly.
Okay, so Neil, you're going for a United win.
Yeah.
Bertram, you're going for a draw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go against both of you. I'm picking Liverpool to win because I think this is the biggest game in Liverpool's season. You know, this is their biggest rivalry game. I mean, Everton just don't turn up, so that doesn't count. But I personally think, you know, I listened to. It was interesting. I don't know if you got a chance to, Neil, but I listened to Klopp's press conference today.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he had no love lost to have a real dig at Ten Hag.
No, he's going to. He's going to. It's part of our culture. Yeah, it's part of our culture that when it comes to United, we get dirty. Yeah, we get down and dirty, right? And if Klopp gets the players up for it, right? And if you forget about the form of the season so far, and it was just this one game, then yeah, we could do it. We can definitely do it at Anfield. But I can't not forget about our bad form this season. Yeah.
So Andy Roach is also going for a draw like yourself, Bertram.
I'm going for a draw.
Okay, let's move on, guys, because as I said, we want to try and bottom this out very quickly. There's the other game that I want us to highlight. The two biggest games we just talked about: Man United, Liverpool, or Liverpool, Man United.
Yeah.
The second biggest game of the weekend is this.
It's a big game.
Massive. What are you saying, Neil?
Do you know what, right? It should be City every day in this fixture, but Newcastle. There's just something at the back of my mind saying that Newcastle are actually going to get a result out of this. Yeah, especially how they lost to United at the weekend. They're looking to bounce back because they've been trying to make a statement all season, and they've been making the statement that they're good enough to be in the top four. I think this is more important to them than City at this moment in time. I think Newcastle are good enough to get that result.
Cool.
But it'll be like a 1-0. I think it'll be a 1-0.
City 2-1. I think Newcastle is not scoring enough. Their scoring has dried up. They gotta play the same team they played with Wilshere, Joe Linton, and Guimaraes in the middle to shore up the midfield front of the defense. And hopefully St. Max and St. Minimum, who's been playing up late, perform like he did when they draw 3-3 at Newcastle. Otherwise, they have no chance.
Yeah.
Because Wilson is injured prone, not doing well, and Isak has not really done. He's not a prolific goal scorer, so their scoring is challenged.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go for a Man City home win 2-1. However, I would love for Newcastle to get a draw out of that one. But I got a feeling Man City will win. So that's the early morning kickoff. Then both Apollo and myself are at the Arsenal game for 3 o'clock.
Nice.
There probably won't be a watch along as a result of both of us being there. What's your prediction, Neil?
3-0 Arsenal.
Okay, Bertram?
4-1 Arsenal.
3-0 Arsenal for me. Then we've also got Aston Villa at home to Crystal Palace. Neil?
1-1.
Bertram?
2-1 Aston Villa.
I'm going to go 2-1 Crystal Palace. Brighton are at home to West Ham. Neil?
3-2 Brighton.
2-1 Brighton.
I'll join you on that one, Bertram. 2-1 to Brighton also. Chelsea are at home, 3 o'clock to Leeds. Neil?
I can't see Chelsea scoring, so it's going to be a 0-0 draw, mate. I can't see Chelsea scoring. Can't see it.
Bertram?
2-1 Chelsea with Aubameyang playing and scoring.
Wow.
That's going to be a third of the goals that they scored, right?
Mm.
I just think he's got to pick a striker and he's going to pick Aubameyang.
Cam, I can see that you put draw in, but I don't know which.
And by the way, Sterling scoring also. So I'm gonna put them up the list. That's my pick.
Okay. Chelsea at home. I gotta see Chelsea getting a win somehow. I mean, the man's job is on the line. He's literally, as we've discussed, 2 games. I reckon.
Now, if you're talking about player power and they want to get rid of him,
then yeah, they draw or lose.
Yeah.
But I've just got to believe that somehow they've got too much quality and they win 2-1. Wolves at home to Tottenham. Neil?
2-0 Spurs.
Bertram?
It's a difficult one, Bertram, eh? Or is he on silent or on mute?
Can't hear
Sorry,
you,
I said
Bertram.
2-1. Sorry, I said I was on mute. 2-1 Spurs. 2-1 Spurs.
Okay, and I will. So, yeah, they've got to come back after that disaster last week or midweek, I should say. So yeah, I'm going to join you also with a 2-1 there. Southampton in the late game on Saturday against Leicester. Neil?
1-0 Leicester.
Stan?
If Madison plays 3-1, if he doesn't, 2-0 Leicester.
Okay. I'm gonna go whether Madison plays or not. I still think Leicester win because just can't see Southampton getting enough goals. I'm going 2-0 to Leicester. Then I'll go to Sunday's games. We've already discussed Liverpool, Man United. The earlier game at 2:00 is Nottingham Forest at home to Everton. Neil,
Big
what's your
game.
thoughts?
Ooh, battle of the bottom, man.
Really?
Everton are going down, man. They're going down. Do you know?
Such an objective comment, Neil.
I know. 1-1.
Nottingham Forest guys are 13th in the league. That's not really. I mean, I know they're only 4 points clear of the drop. But...
Yeah, but they lost to West Ham 4-0.
West Ham beat them 4-0. But away from they're good at home. They're good at home. They're a good home record.
No, I think this will be a draw.
Yeah, I'm saying 1-1. 1-1 for me.
1-1 draw.
I'm going.
My cat's just looked at me like, "Are you crazy?"
I'm going with Nottingham Forest to win 2-1 at home.
Wow.
So that let's see.
Calvert-Lewin will decide whether or not they need a goal scorer. Mopé's not it.
We've got a game on Monday night, boys. Monday night Fulham. Sees Brentford at home to Fulham.
London
this
derby.
Is a proper West London derby.
Is Tony suspended yet, or is he still playing?
He's still playing.
Okay. I'm going to say 2-2.
That came out midweek about him admitting or something that it was false. There was some false story saying that he had.
When they talk about 200 breaches or whatever it is.
Yeah, that got leaked. Yeah, but it was he was upset that it was leaked before it's supposed to be out, right?
All right.
So what's your thoughts, Neil? Brentford at home to Fulham?
Do you know, I actually see Brentford winning this 2-1.
This unbeaten run of theirs is ridiculous.
Yeah, it
needs to be mentioned.
Yeah.
It is an absolutely phenomenal streak of results.
They don't have an unbeaten run. They were beaten. It just wasn't called. They were beaten. Let's be clear on that. VAR has maintained that run. They don't have an unbeaten run.
Yeah.
Not buying that. Not buying that.
But the end result is that they're kind of unbeaten.
They're kind of unbeaten, but
they might have VAR on their side. We know VAR is very questionable at times.
No, it wasn't questionable. It was clear. The man got fired. Lee Mason resigned aspired because he let Brentford remain unbeaten.
Yeah, but at the time it happened.
Yes. At
the time it happened. Maybe they had him in his pocket.
Okay.
Maybe
They've been playing well. Let's give them credit for playing well, but I'm not buying the unbeaten story. So
one thing that nobody's discussing whether the referees are actually doing the betting, right?
2-2. Okay. I like yourself also fancy a draw between two very good teams. I'm gonna go 1-1 though. So, gentlemen, that concludes the action for the Premier League this coming weekend. Very exciting week of Champions League coming up. Second leg of the Champions League round of 16. Chelsea at home to Borussia Dortmund. The tie currently Borussia 1-0 up. Will be interesting to see if Chelsea can come back from that.
Move on from Liverpool. Don't even mention Liverpool.
Bayern, 1-0 to Bayern. I think Bayern will probably knock out PSG. Tottenham losing 1-0 at home to AC Milan. Massive game for them. I know Andy figures that they deliberately lost in the week so they can concentrate on the Champions League. It'll be interesting. And then, of course, Europa League resumes round of 16. Arsenal going away to Sporting, and Man United playing home to Real Betis.
This is where our season get interesting.
It does.
Because who does he play when he goes away?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
So,
really
guys,
wanna win
thank
that
you very
competition?
much for joining us.
If Jesus come back,
everybody in the
yes.
chat who's contributed, thank you very much. Hit the like button on the way out. Apollo has had to go and nip off to pick up his son, so he sends his apologies for not saying goodbye. But yeah, Neil, closing comments.
Come on, Liverpool this weekend.
Come on, Liverpool. I agree. Yes.
Yeah, come on, Liverpool. Come on, Liverpool. Well, we need.
I'm going to
get into
second
that
Neil's
football.
comment. Come on, Liverpool.
Thanks a lot, Bertrand.
And
Thanks
come
a lot,
on,
lads.
Newcastle. And come on, Newcastle. and
Yeah,
Liverpool.
we're all rooting for Newcastle tomorrow morning. So, guys, all the best. We'll see you guys again next week.
Gents,
All right,
have
take
a good
care.
one. See you then. Bye.
Take care.